It's great to have a feast like this, Christ the King. We're at the end of the year, and Christ Jesus crowning the year with himself. He was the true King, God, God of the world, King of earth, King of all nations on the earth today, 2017. He is the King. He reigns. You might not know it in many places, in many nations, in many counties. You might not know it, but he is the King. He controls everything, even the evil that happens around the world. He allows it to happen, and he steers it into a direction that's going to save souls and redound to good somehow, which we will find out sooner or later. But he is always the King of the world, and we always have to learn that and acknowledge it, know that, and live accordingly. But you wouldn't know he would be king in many places because it's a spiritual kingship on this earth. Someday we'll really know it on the day of judgment, when the goats are separated from the sheep and Jesus is there on his mighty throne and makes things happen. Then we will see it. But now it's a spiritual kingdom, but it's real. It's powerful. It changes people and places, families, individuals, changes us. We don't see it happening when we ask for it to happen, but it happens in people's hearts, and slowly, little by little, imperceptibly, or sometimes perceptibly we'll see it. But we don't see the hand of God acting directly. It's spiritual, but it's real. But it depends on us asking for his actions, inviting him into our heart and soul. It depends on our obedience to his commandments and his commands, what he wills. And then he acts and he changes things. But it's if we invite him in and ask him. And this is the strange kingship of this king who came to earth like a baby, as a baby. What kind of king would do that? Allow himself to be helpless in the arms of his mother. He could have been killed easily, and they tried it. It didn't happen when he was a baby. They tried it when he was an adult too, and it didn't happen until he let it happen. As we know, he walked through the crowd, and many other occasions where they tried to kill him, walked away. This strange king who is poor, 30 years he does nothing that's visible, 30 years of obscurity. What kind of king would do that? You would think he'd be riding around on a white horse, and a sword, and doing and saying things that make him famous and command armies or whatever. But he is 30 years in obscurity, praying, suffering, planning for the salvation of mankind. Strange king who will walk 3 years among the people and preach his doctrine in poverty, not probably even touching a coin, letting the other apostles carry the purse, giving it all away, suffering persecutions, opposition. What kind of king would do this? And then, in the end, allow himself to be tortured and humiliated and put on a cross for everyone to see the humiliation of it, his total destruction, total failure in the eyes of the world. What kind of king would do that? A king of love, king of mercy, a king who sacrifices himself for the world, for his sheep. That's the kind of king he is. The perfect king, a king of love and mercy for his children. He's a king, and he turned the tables. He took failure in the eyes of the world and he turned it into the ultimate success, saving the world. He turned things upside down. The devil saw it happening and he couldn't change it. He saw him going to the cross and allowing himself to be crucified, and he knew that that was going to be the end of his kingdom, defeat of his kingdom. He couldn't stop it when the ball got rolling. And so Jesus conquered on the cross, and now we have the cross for us to the end of the world, held high in many homes and in churches. That is the symbol of his victory. The King of love, the King of sacrifice, the King of goodness and generosity to the world. And now he opens the gates of heaven for his children, his subjects who obey him, who live for him, who follow his teachings, who follow his gospel, who let him be king. So he's saying to us in another gospel, if you establish the kingship, my kingship in you, you will have all things besides. How do you establish his kingdom in you and me? We have to give our hearts to him and our wills to him. We have to obey him, do what he tells us to do. Not just the big things, but the small things of every day. We need to obey him in everything. Obey him in everything. Let him have his sway in our heart and soul and life. Let him be truly the king of me, of you. Let him be the king of your life. And let that affect your character, change you, make you like him. That's real kingship. We hand our will over to God, Jesus, and let him take control and be king of me and you. So that's what we are trying to do. It's not just me, but it's those we affect, our families, and then go out from there to our local communities, our workplaces, our society, our cities, and our nations, and our country. The ripple effect, the kingdom of Christ should affect everything, everywhere, all of our nations, our countries. Of course, we see things going the opposite way, deteriorating. You take the crucifix out of the schools, even the Catholic schools, take the commandments off the walls, even in the courts, where it'd be a nice place to have them. Follow the commandments in the courts, wouldn't that be nice? But we take those out. We take the nativity scenes out of the public places, so get them out of the people's minds, out of your mind, and out of your life, right? Take these things out of your home, maybe, or just forget about them and just never, populate your home with nice statues and pictures and things. Get them out of the way so it'll be out of your mind, and then it'll be out of your life, out of your actions, out of your character. So little by little, you see this happening in Europe, where Christianity is diminishing more and more. Our last president was saying here in America, it's not a Christian nation anymore. It's all the other different religions, weakening the Christians' character of our nation. No, it is still a Christian nation. Most of the people in our country are Christian, still have the Christian spirit. Here we are almost into Advent. You can hear the Christmas music already in the radio stations. You can hear the Christmas music right after Thanksgiving. You start hearing it, right? In the malls and in the stores. The Christmas spirit is there. They try to secularize it, but it's still there. They can't totally get the nativity out of the mind of the culture, even with the Santa Claus songs and whatever. I heard there was a priest who wants to get rid of the word Christmas because it's too associated with secularism. I don't know if that's true. Christ is still there in that word. Mass is there in that word. We just need to bring the Christmas reality back into the word, associate the word to our Christian faith, and that's what we need to do. We can do, and we hopefully will do. So we want to bring, especially Jesus reigns, really. He really does reign in the Christmas season, the Advent season. Culture thinks of it as the Christmas season, where they go shopping and hear Christmas songs, and they have the spirit of generosity and charity and almsgiving. You give to Salvation Army, you hear the dingle-dingle at the malls, and you drop your money into the thing, and it encourages charity and almsgiving. That's a very good thing, and it comes from the Christmas spirit, Christian spirit, from Christ, from Jesus, from his teachings of charity, forgiveness, love, reconciliation, going to confession, but this is in the spirit of those who are, kind of secular. They just kind of are that way. It's in the air, in the spirit, which is really the Holy Spirit in the Christmas time when those virtues are practiced. Jesus is reigning more in the Christmas season, even in America, and maybe even in Europe in some places. He is reigning, and that's the way he should reign throughout the year. But at least we have this reminder, just like we have in Advent and Christmas and Easter time. We have reminders and feast days and special solemnities. We're reminded to practice certain virtues, remember the souls in purgatory on All Souls Day, and a Christmas reminder of those virtues we should be practicing throughout the year. And that's how we established the kingship of Christ in society and the families to some extent. Of course, we want to establish it in a strong way by observing and obeying all the commandments of Jesus and letting him totally be the king of our entire life and soul and family and marriage and everything. So we want him to reign fully and totally, starting with ourselves, me, you. We want him to reign totally in all of my actions, all the day, all of my time. We want him to reign totally, so to be the king. So we want him to reign families too, which reminds us of marriage. Marriage. We want Jesus to reign in our marriages. Unfortunately, marriage today is being attacked. It's terrible. All the deformations of marriage that are happening today. You can get married to many people. You can get married to the same sex. You can get married to your animals. You can get married to what depravity. What depravity. God made man and woman, Adam and Eve, and he married them. And that was the example to the end of the world, no matter what culture tells us otherwise. He made us male and female, not whatever. I heard there's an infinite amount of genders today. There's an infinite amount of genders, and it's just a distortion of the reign of Jesus. We have his truth reigning in our society. These stupidities will not be here, but they are. But they will be crushed by true Christians who stand for the faith, who stand for Jesus Christ, who stand for the truth. Christians have to be strong. They have to fight for good, for the right, fight against the evils, the depravities which corrupt our children, corrupt the society, corrupt people, and ultimately lead to the loss of salvation of souls. So we need to bring the kingship of Jesus Christ back into the world, into the families, and into marriages. And so we're blessed to have an example today of the marriage of David and Denise, so we can take encouragement on faithfulness, their witness, and the witness that we want to see in all of our families and all of our society. So on that note, we can go through the rite of the renewal of your marriage vows.